Alright, so in this video we're going to talk about if you should buy an Xbox Series S or X or a PlayStation 5, maybe the discless one as well, and let's get into it. Alright, so this video will just be around my thoughts and the current knowledge of the next-gen consoles for PlayStation and for Xbox, and now that we know the launch dates, the launch titles, and that pre-orders have started, let's get into it. So the Xbox Series consoles, the X and the S, both went on sale on September 22nd and have currently been sold out on pre-orders, and some stores may have it come back in stock and it'll continue going in and out of stock. And based on what I'm seeing on Twitter and on other news sites is that they'll be going in and out, and they may not be the launch titles, but you'll get them in December or the beginning of 2021. So the pre-orders were pretty bad with the Xbox Series for most people. I didn't have too much of an issue, but I did get lucky with this directly from Microsoft's site being loading when I actually wanted to go into it. But I do know that a lot of people had issues about the same as other pre-orders for like the new graphics card and the new PlayStation. So that's always going to be an issue, it seems like, for now. But let's go ahead and talk about the new consoles. So the S, I'll show on screen right now, will be discless and only run at 1440p, but it has the same processor as the X, so the games will work for either system. I've heard that some people are getting confused on whether the S will play X games. They're both the same. They're the Xbox Series collection of consoles. It's kind of misleading with their names. I think that PlayStation does a lot better with their naming schemes than Xbox does, but for the most part, the games will run on both systems, except for the resolution they run at will be different because the S will run at 1440p and 120 hertz, but I don't think that's together. And then the Series X will do 4K and up to 120 hertz. But again, I don't think that's 4K at 120. I think that's 4K at 60 and probably brought down to 1440p and 120 hertz. And the Series S will probably get down to 1080p and 120 hertz so that it can reach that new frame rate. So sadly, Halo Infinite was delayed until next year, but there are other launch titles like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Yakuza Like a Dragon, Gears Tactics, Dirt 5, Devil May Cry Special Edition, Destiny 2 Beyond Light, and I'm sure there'll be other games. I believe Fortnite's already been confirmed as a free game that you'll be able to download, but I'm sure other ones like Apex and Apex Legends and other free games will just come to the consoles and just be compatible. So that was a list of the Xbox specific launch titles. There's no exclusives that I know of. They're all like timed exclusives or just very, like, I think that Assassin's Creed Valhalla is 2 days exclusive, but you should expect the backwards compatibility. I'm not sure day one or not, but the Xbox Series X and S will have backwards compatibility very similar to what the current Xbox One S, X, whatever variant you have, has currently, is going to be ported over to the Series S and X at different resolutions, like I've said before. But they also should be expanding on that, is what we're told, for the list of games that will be available for the Xbox 360, and all of the Xbox One games should be able to be played on the Series consoles as well, except for there'll be some very specific, like Kinect isn't supported on the Series consoles anymore, so you probably can't play any Kinect games if there's anything specifically for the Xbox One that way. But this does mean, for the backwards compatibility aspect of it, you'll have to buy the games again for the Series S because it doesn't have a disc drive, like we've mentioned. And so the X will have the disc backwards compatibility, but the S doesn't have a disc drive that we know of. They may sell a external one at some point, like they've done with the 360, but only time will tell with that. But for now, the backwards compatibility for the S would have to be digitally only, and for the X would be digitally, or you can pop in an old disc of a 360 original Xbox game or a Xbox One game and be able to play it. But the other aspects of Xbox that gives it some value is Game Pass, especially with the new announcement that they have bought Bethesda and their parent company. So we'll have all types of games on Game Pass day one or being brought in there as well as I recently saw Doom Eternal is getting put onto Game Pass, so that'll be one of the first games on there. But they've also mentioned that that purchase won't affect currently announced games for PlayStation, so you can still buy your games on PlayStation if you want, but know that some of their more known series are probably going to wind up being Xbox and PC only and no PlayStation, but that's on a case-by-case basis is what they said. And Game Pass also includes 3 generations of games: Xbox One, Xbox 360, and original Xbox, so you should expect to play all types of games on there, and they bring them in and out just like Netflix does with movies and with TV shows. It's the same way with Game Pass, and I think that Xbox has a little bit of a leg up with how they're structuring their payment plans, which PlayStation doesn't have, where you can pay per month for Xbox Series S or the X, and it includes Game Pass for 2 years while you're paying off the console, and obviously you're paying for Game Pass as well. But you save about $60 if you were to buy those separately, and you get to own the consoles. So you get the Series S and Game Pass for $25, or the Series X and Game Pass for $35, and that's a 2-year plan. But I think that's really great to give people different options of how you want to buy the consoles, so that you can have a payment plan, and it also includes games. So with Game Pass, or you can just buy it out straight for $300 for the Series S and $500 for the Series X. Like I said already, pre-orders are already up, but they're kind of sold out for now, and they'll be trickling in stock as we get closer to the launch date. And once we get to launch date, you'll be able to potentially be able to pick them up in stores as they're in stock. All right, so let's move on to PlayStation 5, and let's talk about that. That's already been up for pre-order. That had its own pre-order issues. I think they both were about equally bad. The only extra thing that PlayStation did that was kind of leans towards that being worse than the Xbox pre-orders is that they told us that it was going to start the day after the presentation, and a retailer went a little early and had the consoles set up to pre-order at about like 8 or 9 p.m. Pacific time, probably before that actually. This has affected both PlayStation and Xbox customers, or both potentially, like I am, and so people are very frustrated with how pre-orders are happening right now, especially with everybody at home and everybody running bots and buying it through that way. Even the one per customer is not affected how bots are able to just purchase all of them up. I think going forward, the retailers just need to figure out how to do this so that we as consumers can still get it with very little amount of bots and scalpers being able to get them. So the PlayStation is a little bit different than the Xbox. The Xbox S and X insides are different, and the PlayStation and the PlayStation 5 digital, there is no difference between the two besides the disc drive. So the PlayStation 5 has a disc drive. The PlayStation 5 all digital, or digital edition, however you want to call that, doesn't have a disc drive. But everything else is the exact same. The SSD, the GPU, the CPU, all the internals are all the same except for that disc drive, and you can see that with the design of each console. I'll put those up right there. And at this point, I want to mention a tweet that I saw. I'll put that up on the screen right now, where a game store owner that I follow talked about the advantage and disadvantage of buying each console, and that saving $100 now at the purchase of the console is not really saving money. And I think that was a great post, so I'll post that up right now, and I'll also link that down in the description if you guys want to read those tweets. And so let's go ahead and get into all of the exclusives for the PlayStation 5. So we have Demon's Souls, Spider-Man Miles Morales, GodFall, and then we get into other launch exclusives like Devil May Cry Special Edition. Astro's Playroom will be downloaded on the system. Destruction AllStars and Sackboy A Big Adventure are both also exclusives. The Devil May Cry one is not exclusive, so that one's also on Xbox like I listed before. And then of course there's all the free games that we'll be getting from Fortnite and potentially Apex Legends, Call of Duty, Warzone, and all the other free games that'll just come over and be able to be played with enhancements or maybe not. And during that showcase for PlayStation, we also got some news on 2021 games like God of War Ragnarok, Deathloop, Resident Evil 8 Village, Final Fantasy 16, and Hogwarts Legacy. So some of these games will be exclusive, some of them, like God of War, some of them will be exclusive for time periods, which I believe is like the Final Fantasy 16 will be a console exclusive for a short amount of time, probably a year, and maybe Hogwarts Legacy. Some of the other ones, please go check out those videos for those launch trailers to see if they have a little tagline for that or not, but expect some of these to be timed exclusives for a year, if not longer. So PlayStation also has a subscription service you can subscribe to. I believe that you can play PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and PlayStation 3 games. You can download at least PlayStation 2 games on the PS4, so hopefully that'll be brought over to the PlayStation 5, and you'll be able to stream PlayStation 3 games. That is a bonus if you're only planning on buying PlayStation 5 and want some type of streaming service or some type of subscription service for games. You don't get the latest games. They don't put those games directly on that service, but at least you'll be able to play a lot of the other games that are on there. They also announced PlayStation Plus Game Collection, I think is the name of that, where you will be able to download and play specific PlayStation 4 games that kind of defined the PlayStation 4 generation, and that's just a bonus for people that subscribe to PlayStation Plus for playing online and giving them a little bit more of an incentive to play PlayStation 5 or on PlayStation 5. I'm not sure if this is available for PlayStation 3 owners. They weren't very clear on that. I think it's required to play on PlayStation 5, but don't quote me on that. Please let me know down in the comments if you guys know specifically on that. So with all of that, you either get to choose the PlayStation 5, which has a disc drive at $500, or the discless PlayStation 5 Digital Edition with no disc drive for $400. And either way, you're coming out with a great system. Even if you buy Xbox, Series X and Series S, one of those, you'll be able to still play a large amount of games and be able to enjoy your time playing the next generation of consoles. All right, now that we got all that information out there, let's talk about what I'm doing. So I pre-ordered the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5, the one with the disc drive, and I will be playing the exclusives for PlayStation 5. I'll be buying games that are on both, and I do some type of mixture between the two depending on what series it is. So Assassin's Creed is an example. I've mostly played on Xbox, so I'm going to keep that. And I mostly bought Resident Evil games on PlayStation, so I'll definitely be playing those on PlayStation 5 as they come out. And I plan on buying the PlayStation VR 2 or whatever they name it when that comes out. And look forward and subscribe to the channel if you guys want to see videos on those when they come out. I'm not sure I'll get the PlayStation 5 on time because I bought it through Target, and it says anywhere from the launch day to about 5 days after. But the Xbox I bought directly from Microsoft, so that should show up hopefully on launch day, depending on how carriers are in my area. We've had wildfires, so we gotta, there's some issues that might come up, but I will try to get videos up as fast as possible with those. And then there's also the Switch. I'm going to keep playing my Switch. I'm going to still buy exclusives there. I'm still buying other games like Doom Eternal. Once that comes out on the Switch, I'll buy that, since I bought Doom 2016 on the Switch. And there's a lot of other games I will just want to play portably, so it's always great to have the Switch as a second alternative to the main consoles. I think that they're in the fight of their own for portability and for family-centric games. So I'll definitely be still rocking my PlayStation 4 because I got the Spider-Man one. I still want to play all my PlayStation 4 games on there. Even if they have enhancements on that PlayStation 5, at least for the short term, with NVMe prices, I don't think that I will put too many PlayStation 4 games on my PlayStation 5 because I don't like deleting them. I like just having games installed and being, done with that. But of course, with the small 825, I think it is, gigabytes, and take away the system memory for that. And same thing on Xbox Series X and S. You're still gonna have some space constraints with the game still being quite big, and with their external solution being about as expensive as PlayStation's recommendation. They just set it in a different way, and it's different slightly, where these are like memory cards on the Xbox, and on the PlayStation it's going to be just regular NVMe drives. So it'll be interesting how the expandable storage winds up with both of those. But that's all I got for today. And before we go, like this video if you liked it, dislike if you don't, hit the subscribe button and then turn bell notification on so you get notified when we upload new videos. Or don't. I've heard some people don't like hitting the bell icon. As long as you subscribe, that's all that matters for the YouTube algorithm. Liking and disliking the videos also helps, so please go ahead and do that. There's links all down there for my Twitter, my Twitch. I stream on somewhat of a regular schedule. The schedule will be on my Twitch page, so go check that out. And there's other links down there for affiliate links, for merch, for like this guy. I'm wearing the merch in this video, so that's nice. So just go ahead and check out all the links down there. I'm sure there's something you'll find down there that you'll enjoy. And thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.